And welcome back to the Kiosk Presents. Joining me today is Patricia Martel and Scott Hancock. They're talking about how the job of a city manager can help cities run more effectively and why young people should get involved in looking into this career as a possibility. Thank you so much for joining us today here in Buffalo and Western New York.
Well, thank you. It's our pleasure.
All right. Now, what is a city manager exactly?
Well, a professional local government manager is someone who is hired by an elected official in order to manage the day-to-day operations of a city or a town or a county. They do so in the most efficient and effective and ethical manner that they possibly can. They're there to partner with the elected officials who hire them and the community that they serve to help them to realize the vision that they have for their community, to identify the goals and objectives that the community has for its future. As a trained and experienced manager who can handle a variety of operations like police and fire, public works, parks and recreation and library, they provide the technical expertise that's necessary to help achieve the results that elected officials and residents in a community want to see.
All right. How is this different from someone like a mayor?
Well, let me give you an analogy from the sports perspective, and since we're getting ready to go into Super Bowl in about 2 weeks, if you looked at a football game, the mayor is the coach. So the mayor is the elected official who is actually setting the policy for, along with the city council, the other elected officials for that community. The quarterback is the professional local government manager. So that's the individual, the city manager like Pat in Daly City, who taking cues from her elected officials to make sure the policy is implemented properly. And of course the team, everybody together, is directed by the quarterback to make sure all the plays come together as they should and they get the touchdown at the end of the play. So that's how the city manager or county manager is never an elected official. It's always an appointed official accountable to the elected officials.
Okay, so rough analogy to follow up yours. So a city without a manager might be like the coach getting onto the play and trying to throw the ball.
Very possibly.
That's a good analogy, yes.
He might be good at it, but that's not always the case.
You never know.
All right, fantastic. Now, Patricia, you've done the job. What sort of training or degrees do you recommend people have who are going to be taking these positions, and what sort of training do you have?
Well, typically one becomes a professional local government manager with a background in something like public policy, public administration, political science. But there isn't a defined educational background that you have to have. What you really need to be an effective professional local government manager is to have a passion for serving people, to want to make a difference in this world, to build sustainable communities and improve the quality of life for people. That's as important as the formal education. But you do need to know a little bit about a lot of things in managing a city. So having a technical background in a discipline related to what we do in cities and towns and counties is very important.
Okay. How do you keep politics out of it? Specifically, because it's a nonpartisan position, but there's so much politics involved in running a city and making sure everyone's happy. How do you sort of stay in between all of it?
Well, I would counter that. Part of the thing that we're trying to do with a professional city or county manager is to avoid the political process. You know, the policy and the politics of setting that policy happens, and it's bound to happen in any kind of democracy. But once the vision has been set by the elected officials, following the lead of the voters, then it's up to the city manager or the local government professional to implement that policy and to do it in a cost-effective and an efficient and an ethical way. So politics doesn't need to play a role in the implementation of good policy set by the elected officials.
Okay. Which cities have city managers or local government managers?
Well, in your area, Genesee County and Niagara Falls are managed by professional local government managers. But across the country, there are cities and towns and counties of all sizes. Phoenix, Arizona, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, San Jose, California, Charlotte, North Carolina. Cities and towns and counties of all sizes are managed by professional managers.
Oh, that's really interesting. I did not know Niagara Falls had a city manager. Now, would you recommend this to young people as a potential career path?
I not only would recommend it, I do recommend it often. I think that anyone who really wants to make a difference in this world and has a passion for service to people would be a great professional local government manager.
Okay. Now, we're coming to the City Management Association's 100th anniversary. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, city management began in 1907 with the first city manager appointed, who was Charles Ashburner, and that was in Stanton, Virginia. Charles was actually hired to make sure that the muddy streets in Stanton were dealt with. The city fathers were complaining about that. So city management actually began with a very strong focus on public works. And of course today we're now into pretty much everything that cities and towns and counties do to provide quality of life services to their citizens. ICMA was actually established in 1914, so this is the 100th anniversary of ICMA as the professional association for all the cities, towns, and counties managers across the country and in 26 countries across the world.
So anyone who's interested about our profession can learn more about it by going to the website icma.org or lifewellrun.org.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Patricia and Scott, for joining us here on the Kiosk Presents. It's been great to hear about this. It's an area of, it's a job that you don't hear about every day, and it's definitely something that'll be on my mind.
Thank you
Thanks
for
so
having
much,
us.
Steve.